ever get your car insurance renewal and
And
think,
how did they come up with that number?
well, I can tell you it's not magic.
But it is a fascinating blend of data and a little-known role.
The Insurance Rating Analyst.
Think of it like this.
You've got insurance agents out there, right? They're the handshake.
But behind them,
A whole team of number detectives.
making sure the insurance world actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So today we're getting a backstage pass to this crucial,
But often overlooked career.
you're spot on. It's not just about crunching numbers.
It's about understanding risk.
Exactly.
And for this deep dive, our sources are career guides straight from RoleCatcher.com.
They're giving us the inside scoop on what these analysts actually do.
In essence.
They're the architects of insurance pricing.
Okay.
They take massive amounts of data, everything from accident reports to
Believe it or not.
your zip code.
Wait, my zip code.
Seriously.
Oh, absolutely.
They might look at crime rates in your area,
The average cost of car repairs.
even things like hailstorms.
All to paint a picture of risk.
That's wild.
I had no idea they factored in so many things.
It's like they're piecing together a puzzle to figure out the future.
That's a great way to put it.
They use that puzzle to calculate premiums.
Those fees you pay for coverage.
Right.
And it's not just gut feeling.
It's a combination of traditional methods and...
Increasingly sophisticated software.
Okay, so algorithms are doing some of the heavy lifting.
That makes sense with all that data.
Yeah.
Our sources mention this too.
Especially the technology advances section.
What's the work environment like for someone juggling data and...
Oh, maybe robots.
Think a typical office setting,
Okay.
usually at an insurance company or a rating agency.
But as technology evolves,
So does the job.
they're not just number crunchers anymore.
They need to understand how those numbers play with software.
Yeah.
Data analysis skills are key.
So it's not just about loving spreadsheets.
It's about speaking algorithm.
That's a whole other language.
But I imagine this blend of analytical thinking and tech.
Create some serious pros and cons.
Our guides certainly highlighted a few.
Yeah.
What jumped out at you?
Well, for starters,
It's a field with a competitive salary and...
strong job stability.
Okay,
Everyone needs insurance, right?
right.
Plus, you're working with data and statistics.
Directly impacting an industry.
That's got to be rewarding.
Right, for our learner listeners.
That kind of intellectual challenge is a huge plus.
You get to be a data detective.
Solving mysteries with numbers.
But like every job.
There's a flip side.
Sure.
What about the downsides?
The guides mention the workload can be demanding.
Leading to potential stress and burnout if you're not careful.
Okay.
It's not just about the math either.
You need a strong grasp of insurance policies and
You
regulations.
need a good head for numbers.
And a strong grasp of the legal side.
Sounds intense.
But fascinating.
Yeah.
But let's say someone dives in.
Conquers the learning curve.
What does their career trajectory look like? Okay, so we've talked about the day-to-day, the pros, the cons.
It's like this career is a brain teaser and a half.
But what about climbing the ladder?
Where do you even go from being an insurance rating analyst?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The elevating your career section of this guide.
Lays out some pretty cool paths.
According to this.
An analyst could end up heading their whole department.
Wow.
Talk about a glow up.
From number cruncher to number commander.
I love it.
So there's definitely room for leadership roles.
What about someone who loves the technical side?
Can they specialize?
Absolutely.
They could become a go-to expert in, say,
Maritime insurance?
or even cybersecurity risks.
Okay.
Super niche, super in demand.
So even within this world,
There are subworlds.
it's like those Russian nesting dolls of career paths.
Exactly.
And here's the real kicker.
Some analysts take the leap.
And start their own rating agencies.
Whoa. From analyzing policies to setting the standards for an entire industry.
That's next level.
Let's be real.
This field is constantly evolving. Our sources mention continuous learning being key.
What does that even look like for these analysts?
It's all about staying ahead of the curve.
Okay.
Think advanced degrees.
Specialized certifications.
Heck, even just going to industry workshops to see what's new.
The learning never really stops.
Which, knowing our learner listeners...
Is probably music to their ears.
Right.
They're all about that growth mindset.
But I'm curious.
How does someone even break into this world?
It feels like you need a secret decoder ring just to understand the job titles.
That's where a platform like RoleCatcher can be a game changer. They're not just about posting jobs.
They're like that friend who knows all the shortcuts.
Okay, career GPS activated.
Tell me more.
Because I'm already lost in a sea of acronyms over here.
Imagine this.
You're prepping for an interview, right?
Right.
Nerves are shot. You're Googling, what does an actuary actually do at 2:00 a.m.?
RoleCatcher has this huge database of real interview questions.
Asked by actual employers in the field.
So no more generic advice?
You're getting the inside intel.
That's brilliant.
What else do they offer?
What are the coolest features?
Their AI-powered feedback system.
Okay.
You can practice answering questions.
Record yourself.
And their AI analyzes your performance.
It's like having a career coach in your pocket.
Minus the awkward motivational posters.
Okay. That's impressive.
No more rambling on about irrelevant skills.
But we've touched on tech a bit.
Is that a big part of RoleCatcher's approach?
Huge.
It's not just for job seekers either?
Remember how we talked about employers needing very specific skills?
Right.
Well, RoleCatcher helps them find candidates, too.
Okay.
They put in their wish list and boom.
Matches are made.
So it's like a matchmaking service.
For careers.
That's brilliant.
Instead of hoping your resume gets seen.
You're basically waving at the right people from across the room.
Exactly.
No more shouting your qualifications into the void.
RoleCatcher is all about making those meaningful connections.
I'm starting to see why this platform is such a big deal.
It's like they've taken the mystery out of career building.
Out of the stress.
Because knowing what employers want.
Having those practice questions.
Right.
That's huge for building confidence.
Absolutely.
Speaking of confidence,
Let's shift gears a bit.
we've talked about the skills needed.
But what about the human side of this role?
What makes someone a truly great insurance rating analyst? It strikes me that this job
At its core,
is about more than just numbers.
you're dealing with people's livelihoods,
Right.
their sense of security.
That's a really important point.
A spreadsheet can tell you how much to charge.
But it can't tell you the impact of
Say a denied claim.
on a family.
Right.
The best analysts.
They have that empathy.
Yeah.
They understand the weight of their decisions.
So it's about finding that balance
The analytical mind.
and that human touch.
Exactly.
It's about seeing the story behind the data.
Okay.
And I imagine,
Picking for fair assessments.
even if it means pushing back against an algorithm or a bottom line.
That's fascinating.
So it's almost like being a data ethicist in a way,
There's definitely an element of that.
as technology evolves.
That human oversight becomes even more important.
Which brings us to a big question.
What does the future hold for the insurance rating analyst?
Are robots going to steal all the jobs?
Honestly.
It's an exciting time to be in the field.
Okay.
As technology gets more advanced,
We'll likely see even more sophisticated algorithms.
predictive modeling.
Things we can barely imagine right now.
So instead of just using AI as a tool,
It becomes more of a partner in assessing risk.
exactly,
Wild. But,
the human element will always be essential.
okay.
You need that critical
The
thinking.
gut feeling that says,
Okay, the data says this.
but let's dig a little deeper.
So it's not just about who can code the best algorithm
It's about who can interpret what that algorithm spits out.
and make smart ethical decisions based on it.
Exactly.
And with platforms like RoleCatcher, helping people upskill.
Prepare for these new challenges.
Right.
It's like the future is wide open.
I love that.
It's not about robots versus humans.
It's about humans and robots working together.
To create a more fair, transparent system.
That's a great way to put it.
And for anyone listening who loves data, problem solving,
And isn't afraid of a little technological challenge.
this could be the career for you.
Absolutely.
Well, listeners, there you have it.
A deep dive into the world of the insurance rating analyst.
We've explored their role, the skills they need, the challenges they face.
And how technology is reshaping their world.
It's a career at the crossroads of data and human impact.
And who knows what fascinating developments are just around the corner.
And a big thank you to RoleCatcher.com for providing those insightful career guides that informed our conversation today.
If you're intrigued by what you've heard today, we encourage you to check out RoleCatcher.
They've got a wealth of information on this career path and many others.
It might just spark your next big move.
But before we go, we'll leave you with this.
In a world increasingly driven by algorithms and data,
Who will ensure the humans behind the numbers aren't forgotten?
that's something to think about. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.